Then there was, I met John Moxley, and I was asked, which by Dusty Rhodes, which is somebody who will come very much into this episode. Um, he had a vision. He used to call John Moxley as James Dean. He used to call me, Dusty used to call me is Peter O'Toole, because he likened actors he was fans of to certain people who he met, and liked to, that he looked at visions as telling movies, which paid off a lot with me, as far as the way I look at things. And I ended up doing a 12-month story in FCW with John Moxley, and 2 matches. And the final match was, and this is the bit that is, this is where I'm skating on thin ice with my own standards, because I don't like giving away wrestling stuff too much. But I wanted to make sure, because I didn't know how long I was going to wrestle. Again, there was so much of the last few years of my career. I thought it's any time now. There's something's going to go, because I had so many things going on and wasn't telling anybody. But I was so many injuries, so many different. There was heart things. There was all kinds. But it was people I met and thought I want to do something with them. So the second match that myself and John Moxley had, I wanted to make sure that he beat me in it. Part of that match, and it's true, he put my head against the exposed turnbuckle and stamped on my head and tore my earlobe off. And I had to, and you can, I know WWE put that picture out in one of their magazines, so it's of my ear being stitched up. There's interviews at that time. There's me doing promos on the show where you can see different times where you can see my ear was stitched up for a while. He ripped my earlobe off, and there was so much blood because there was a blood ban, that whoever was backstage calling was going, stop it, stop it. And they were sending people in, and me and John were like screaming at him to get out. But I eventually got up onto my knees, like, is this person, this diabolical villain, who's more of a villain than I am, but I like him because he is a villain. And I just got up and applauded him, and then he hit me with my finish.
Wow.
And beat me. So if you ever get to watch that, that's that story. But that story played out over 12 years. Sure. I'm going to give a shout out to a fella. I don't know who he is. He put a little 6-minute piece together on YouTube called True Villains. If you ever want to see it's not all of what myself and John did, but it is a work of art of, it's like, and some of it's in black and white and that, but it's snippets of the 12 months that we told this story about us being like-minded individuals, and me knowing, I'm just telling a story at the time, but it ended up really being the case, and now it's playing into this Blackpool Combat Club. The whole story for a year was, I know, because of this man's diabolical mind, he's going to be the person that finishes me, that takes me out of wrestling. If you actually watch that story, and it's a lot of FCW to watch for a year, but the whole time I'm on commentary or when he's in the ring, I'm talking about, I know that there can't be two of us. It is really like a movie in itself. I'm saying, I know I'm the most diabolical villain on this, but he's the one that's younger than me and more sadistic, and he's going to finish me off. Wow. And that was the whole story of that. So that's where our story comes from. And this gentleman put this thing together called True Villains, which was all on, none of it was just an idea of Dusty's to start this thing. And we didn't know where it was going to go. We started it and we just did what we did, and was no real, we just did it for a year. So it comes round to the next thing, which I did a thing with Chris Hero. Well, then it was coming to the end of, I knew I was 45, that things were mounting up. I wasn't well, but I wasn't going to tell anybody. But I made sure Claudio was the person who I wanted. If this was going to be it, I wanted a match with him. We have one match, which was as good a finishing match as I could have with what was going on with my health at the time.